Wales, one of the 4 nations of the UK and the only one that didn't make it onto the flag. This country has a rich and fascinating history that's often overlooked in the face of its contemporaries. On this channel I hope to talk all about Welsh history, starting today with a very brief overview of one of its most important kingdoms, Gwynedd. By the year 78, the Romans had completed their conquest of Wales, putting them in second place. This would last just over 300 years, when the usurper Magnus Maximus withdrew the garrison from Wales. The land they left behind was thinly populated, rural, poorer than what there was before the Romans came, mostly mountainous, covered in forests, constantly cold, terrible for growing crops, attacked by Irish raiders and soon to be attacked by Anglo-Saxons. This new hellscape that many of us love to call home would be the foundation for 4 major kingdoms, one of which, Gwynedd, we're going to be talking about today. According to legend, the Kingdom of Gwynedd was founded from the lands colonised by the Irish. Their principal settlement, known as Venedotia, was located on Anglesey. A king of probably Powys known as Vortigern, who liked to wear clothes the same colour as his hair and also had no face, decided to summon a warlord from the north of Britain known as Gwynedd to deal with these Irish colonisers. Around the year 430, Gwynedd Wledig is said to have come down from the north of Britain to take roughly these lands. Upon his death, his lands were divided amongst his sons, with his 7th son, Einion, getting the cantref of Ross, located here. When he died, he passed this cantref on to his eldest son, meaning his 2nd son, Cadwallon, would have to go out and find his own lands, which he did by conquering the remaining Irish settlement, known as Venedotia. He did this with the help of Osmeliog, who then promptly disappears on the historical record, meaning that they probably shouldn't have helped him. His eldest son, Maelgwn, has the epithet Gwynedd, which tells us something important. He was written down as the king of Gweneddota in 828 AD. This Gweneddota would eventually go on to be written as Gwynedd, which means that Maelgwn was, I guess, the first official king of Gwynedd. Maelgwn did what everyone does on a typical family barbecue. He killed his uncle, took his land, established a capital at Deganwy, and then died of the yellow fever, which is what my parents called me when I was born with jaundice. Maelgwn's eldest son I can neither pronounce nor draw properly, Rhin here, and I should probably ask my friend to do a couple more of these. He died and possibly passed it to his son Beli, who definitely passed it to his son Iago. Now, up until this point, things have been pretty relaxed in Wales. However, some weird Germans from the north of the Humber, good name, decided to come down and attack the city of Chester. Not to worry, Iago at Beli of Gwynedd, Cadwal Crispan of Ross, and Self Sart Gadai ap Sinan Gawain of Powys, who is apparently compensating for something, all teamed up to defeat the Northumbrians at Chester. And they all died. Of course, once you're dead, you can't be king, so Iago had to pass it to his son Cadfan, who then passed it to his son Cadwallon, who decided to take revenge on the Northumbrians. He defeated them at the Battle of Haddfeld, before marching through their territory for a year, before finally being defeated at the Battle of Heavenfeld. Now unfortunately, Cadwallon's son was a baby, and as we know, babies cannot inherit the throne. This gave the perfect opportunity for literally a random guy called Cadwal ap Cynfeddw to take the throne of Gwynedd. Now, Cadwal was friends with these other Germans called the Mercians. They decided to team up and fight the Northumbrians again at the Battle of Wynward. However, Cadwal decided to run away, possibly allowing the previous king's son, Cadwaladr, to then take the throne. Cadwaladr is also the person who was associated with the Welsh dragon. He passed the throne to his son Idwal, who then passed it to his son Rhodri. Now when Rhodri died, his son was a baby, which means you have to go back to the rules. No, not that one. Yes, that one. Which gave the perfect opportunity for the king of Ross, Caradog, to march into Gwynedd and take it for himself. Now he ruled Gwynedd for a very long time, before deciding to follow in the footsteps of his ancestors and being killed violently in battle against the Mercians in the year 798. His death allowed the son of the previous king, Sinan, to come back from exile in Ireland and take the island of Anglesey. leading to a rather awkward situation with the new king of Ross, Hwyl Fawrthrynog, which means greasy beard, which tells you that he was probably not a popular guy. In the year 813, Hwyl decided to attack the island of Anglesey, but lost. But that's okay, because the next year he attacked and won. In 816, Sinan managed to drive Hwyl out of Anglesey, but died later of apparently unrelated reasons, leaving Hwyl Fawrthrynog the sole king of Gwynedd. Now, like most people, Hwyl would eventually die, leaving Gwynedd in chaos. But luckily, far to the north on the Isle of Man, was a woman named Esyth. She was the daughter of King Sinan, heiress to the throne of Gwynedd, married to the king of the Isle of Man in a very powerful position. Could she be the one to come to Gwynedd, restore order, become the first queen in all of Welsh history? No, of course not. She's a woman, and a woman can't inherit. But luckily, her son can. Mervyn Frich, rather adorably meaning the freckled, which is a much nicer name than his other epithet, Cam Uri, which means the oppressor. Mervyn possibly established a capital at Carnarvon, and decided to follow in the steps of his great-granddad, and died violently in battle against the Mercians in the year 844. His son was known as Rhodri Mawr, which means Rhodri the Big, the Voluminous, the Great. In 855, the king of Powys died, and Rhodri claimed his throne due to his mother being the sister of the king. He used his military prowess to wrestle the lands away from the Mercians, and possibly also took Meirionnydd at this time. In 872, his wife's brother, Gugon of Ceredigion, would die by drowning, allowing Rhodri to again claim his throne and take his lands, making him a king of a huge amount of territory, but unfortunately it wouldn't last. Following traditional Welsh law, his lands would be divided amongst his sons, with his eldest son Anarawd getting Gwynedd with a new capital at Aberfraw, his second son Mervyn getting Powys with a new capital at Mathravel, and his third son Cadest getting Ceredigion with a new capital at Dynevor. Although Rhodri was dead, his impact he would have on Wales was immense. He had just founded the country's 3 most important and influential dynasties, and from now on, nearly every king in Wales would be descended from him, turning the family tree from a bunch of straight lines into this weird stretched out spider looking thing. We'll continue the story next time.